mindset of pressing and pursuing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can just underline it. You don't even have to write it down. It's right there in the first paragraph. In this life, you must have a mindset to press and to pursue. It means to follow in order to overtake. To pursue means really that you're trying to really obtain something. And I'm going to give you a natural example. I really want to run. Sounds weird, but I really want to run. My mind is set to pursue the efforts necessary to be able to run again. I used to run 6 miles a day when I was some of y'all age, young. But even when I was in my 40s, I used to run a mile to 2 miles. When we started the church, we used to play football, basketball, everything. To run. But now that I've gotten older, I've allowed myself to be complacent. And I decided, listen, I want to pursue something more in life. And the one thing I want to pursue is the ability to run again.
Amen.
It takes certain things for me to be able to run again. One, I got to develop my wind all over again. I have to take some of the weight off so my knees don't swell up. All these things I'm doing, not for somebody else, but I'm doing it for me because I want something greater out of my life.
Amen.
Pursue means to follow in order to take over, to find or employ measures to obtain. You got to figure out what you need to do to be able to attain the goal that you're searching to get. In order for me to be able to run, there are certain things I need to do. It's funny how you can have a desire and the Lord tells you what you need to do, but you don't want to do it. I didn't just get the desire to run. I wanted to start running last year. And that's when the Lord had Brother Matthew talk to me about no carb eating. But at the same time, my wife was doing a no sugar. She was like, you should do no sugar. I'm like, I ain't doing no sugar. She didn't just do a no sugar one time, she did no sugar 3 times. And each time she would bring to me, and it was the Lord, because I was telling the Lord I want to run, and she was saying, you need to go no sugar. I ain't doing no sugar. Are you willing to employ what's necessary to achieve?
Come on.
Yes.
If you want to stop arguments in your relationship, you got to learn how to control your tongue.
Right.
Not their tongue.
Right.
You just don't understand. They don't know. Ain't no they. It first starts with you.
Yes.
Break it down.
The arguments will never stop until you learn to control your tongue. God is allowing the arguments so He can teach you.
Yes.
Come on.
All right, here. I'm going to catch this. You better get this nugget.
That's true.
You have to employ measures to obtain when you're pursuing something. You know, one of the measures that my wife and I used to employ when we first got married, and we should talk more about marriage when she comes, is for argument, she would just leave the room. Because she already knew, if we keep doing it this way, it ain't going to be pretty. And then she got like 5 brothers, so I really didn't want to go down that road. They're big dudes too. And they mean and stuff. So you can be as bad as you want to be. You get 5 big dudes on you, I don't care how bad you think you are. You're going to have some knots, black eye, and everything else. But we employed, and she did it first, measures to be able to pursue good communication skills. And the way she did it, she would leave the room. And of course, I would just go behind her trying to argue. She's like, baby, I'm trying not to argue.
Right.
That's why I'm leaving the room.
Right. Right.
I caught it. But you know, you have to pursue this. You have to decide, what is it that you want? She could have just kept blaming me. Well, you don't want to keep on arguing. You don't want. She employed measures to accomplish what she wanted in her life. She did not want to argue. As much as I wanted to, she didn't want to.
Amen.
And it didn't matter if I wanted to. She was like, I'm not going to. And she'd leave the room. It didn't matter if I got mad because she left the room. You have control yourself and your anger, but I'm not going to argue. I'm leaving the room.
Amen.
But what we do is we do not take, responsibility for our own actions, and we say, you made me mad because you left the room. No, you made yourself mad. Because I wouldn't argue with you.
Yes, sir. Teach it.
Let's move on. I'm messing with some people this morning. We have to explore the areas of our lives, and we're in this first paragraph on the second page, that need to be developed and matured. We must read, we must study, we must evaluate our lives in order to enjoy a greater relationship with God. You cannot reach a place of being satisfied with yourself, but you have to really, you got to read books. You got to read the Bible. You got to listen to God. You got to pray. You got to study so that you can have the kind of relationship you want with other people and with your parents. Some people have the right relationship with their parents, but they won't forgive. They think they have the right to be angry with their parents, when if they read the Bible, they'll realize it's not acceptable with God.
Amen.
Teach, sir. Teach.
Yep, that's true. That's it. Teach.
Evaluate your prayer life. See if you're praying. Coming to church is fine. We got to come to church. We got to hear stuff like this so we can go back. And we can, mill over and chew over it. But in the end, you have to circle certain things. You got to say, I can't apply everything on all these 5 pages, but I can maybe apply one thing, and maybe I can evaluate my prayer life. Maybe I can evaluate my reading life. I saw my wife, and I'm going to use her as examples because she's my wife and I can. I saw my wife say, I really want to study the Word and read the Word. And talked about it for a couple years. And all of a sudden, I don't know what kicked in, but something kicked in. And she started without warning. Without making a big open declaration. She just started in January to read through the whole Bible. And I watched her every day read through and listen to and study the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelations. I was highly impressed. Because I remember when I did it. And I remember the kind of diligence that it takes to methodically, little by little, eat the elephant.
Yes, sir.
And I watched her start January the 1st on a whole new program to go from Genesis to Revelations, but not just to read it, but to study it in depth. And I wonder if you ever really thought, man, I would like to read the Bible. Then you have to evaluate what measures is it going to take for you to pursue.
Right.
There's a writer that said, learn to appreciate that which is better than others. Sometimes you got to look at what somebody else is doing good so that you can mimic it. Sometimes we spend so much time looking at other people that aren't doing anything good and picking up, look, they ain't doing that, she ain't doing that, them, my kids, they this, and, my friends, they talk about it, my auntie, she just get on my nerves. Listen, learn to appreciate the good things in people that are doing good.
Right.
And mimic those things. Stop looking at the negative because it'll hurt you. Look at this, verse 13. He goes on and he begins to talk, brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended. Same mindset. But this one thing I do. Very important thing. Forgetting those things that are behind. He's not saying, not acting like those things happen. He's saying you have to leave the past in the past. In this paragraph, let's look at this. Let's read this paragraph together. In verse 13 on the second page. It says, our temptation, come on, let's read together. Our temptation is to make the past the standard, and so to cut down the possibilities of the present and the future. Stop right there. We make the past our standard. This is how I've always done it, and so this is how I'm going to always do it.
Help us.
And what that does, that cuts out any possibility of God showing you something different. I've always responded this way when a person did that, and I'm not going to respond any differently. I remember, I've heard And I've seen my wife give advice to certain married women, saying, look, you need to go home and make your husband a bubble bath. And I've seen the buck up, I don't do that, he don't deserve it. Ain't about how he deserves it. Your response, you've got to change your response.
Right.
You can't, your life can't be based on the standard of how you've always behaved. If you expect to receive something great out of God, you've got to leave the past behind and say, God, what should I be doing right now? Yeah. And what is it that you want me to do tomorrow?
Amen.
Hence we put division meaning on hold, because I need to hear more clearly exactly what you want us to do right now and what you have planned for us for the future. And it cannot be based on a past standard. If we do things based on a past standard, guess what? We'll get what we always get.
That's right.
A writer once said, contentment with the past is fatal to all progress. If you only like what you've always done, you'll never try nothing new.
That's right. That's true.
You know, I'm not a real fan of Bishop T.D. Jakes, but I like his preaching. But about 5 years ago, he preached a sermon, and it wasn't really a sermon, it was a series. And one of the parts of the series was influence. Your life is changed by influence. But if you never allow yourself to be influenced by anything, your life can never change.
Right.
You know, I never liked sushi. Want no sushi? My wife, T, would go with Sister Ron, she'd take up all over the city to sushi places. Finally, I got the nerve up. I said, I really need to try something new. I need to let something else influence my life. And she took me to